So before starting the workshop, I'll introduce Madame Sylvie Bastien. Madame Bastien is the founder of Teachers Professor Partnership and a strategic conference regular she's working in interpersonal relationships with personality and communities. She works with administrative teams, the parents, as well as helping to solidify the relationships they're going to and to creating a harmonious and productive environment in the school. Working in the school environment for more than 30 years now, it's as the executive director or the assistant director and the director of admissions and a teacher. They work with communication of interpersonal relationships between the parents and the schools, as well as with the members of the team, have an impact significant on the learning of a child. Madame Bastien offers different types of suggestion, including the best relationship between teachers and wish you a good workshop. Thank you very much. Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody. So I heard a few parents. I had a few parents that said, "Oh, after lunch, we really fall asleep a little bit. So I promise I'm going to keep you awake. Okay? Everything's fine. You're doing good. I can't hear you. How are you? Good. My name is Sylvie Bastien. Thank you for this great introduction. Today we're talking about the parent-teacher relationship. It's important that this relationship work. That it be a relationship that clicks. So have you already had the experience of having a relationship which was not particularly easy with different teachers? Sometimes we get with teachers or with a relationship that really clicks, and sometimes a relationship, it just doesn't work that well. Raise your hand if you've already had the experience of having a bad relationship or a little bit of a tight relationship with a teacher. Raise your hand if anybody that's happened to, at least once. There we go, hands going up slowly but surely. That's normal because we are human beings. And it's normal that sometimes everybody's pulling a little bit on the blanket and trying to get their point across. I could talk you quickly about my experience. I was a school principal for a few years in elementary school. And on the side of my door was this sign that said Sylvie Bastien as principal. But I think that should have had this sign that says complaints department, because that's where all the arguments took place. We had teachers that were complaining amongst themselves, parents that were arguing amongst the teachers, students that were arguing amongst themselves. So it wasn't really the office, it was the complaints office, really. And it was often stuck in between the two. It's not always easy. But I've said to myself that over 30 years, in a 30-year career, I said, that just doesn't make sense. It's so many arguments between adults in education that it really botches the educational environment for children. And I notice that every time. And it's too important. And that's why my mission today is to really work on the relationship between important adults who working with the children. It's just so important. And we don't talk about it enough. Have you read a lot of books on that? I don't know a lot of books. I haven't heard a lot about that on that subject. I don't even know a lot of people that work on that relationship, and it's time that we talk about it. What I do is that I go from one school to another, private schools, public schools, nurseries, early childhood centers, to talk about to teachers, to help them to better communicate with the parents, and to help parents to also develop a good relationship. The parent-teacher relationship, I think sincerely, is really at the center of the well-being of the child. You see this little boy here, he's stuck between the two. If mom and dad don't get along with the teacher in his school, with his teacher, he doesn't know what to do. He's getting up with his mom that I have him and mom at home saying, "Oh, the teacher's no good. She's out of date. She's too old. She's bad," and so on. So how is the kid going to feel when he goes back to school the next day? How do you think the child is going to look at the teacher? Yeah, sort of like that. He's going to be he's going to be fearful of this tone. He's not really going to want to talk, to be kind, to be nice with the teacher, to be kind, really to get into it with in the teaching with them. So you see to what extent the child really is at the center of the relationship, and how, when both the teacher and as an adult, we have to really make an effort to get along better and to communicate better. You agree? You think I'm right? I can see some heads nodding, so we'll keep going. So today we'll talk about all sorts of little tricks that we can do to improve the relationship. Yes, tricks, you will get them, but there are two winning attitudes that we need as a parent. And if there's one thing I want you to take home with you today, it's these two different attitudes. The first attitude as a parent is that you should be proactive. Be proactive. What does that mean? That means don't wait. Don't wait until the teacher calls you. You know, I heard a mother say a while ago, well, you know, he's got notes that his mark's gone down a little bit in math. If the teacher doesn't call, it's not too bad. Doesn't mean it's not important. No, you're concerned. You're upset about something. You're worried. Something you don't understand. Don't wait until the teacher calls you. Take the bull by the horns. Not the teacher, the bull. Take the bull by the horns and contact her or him. You're uncomfortable with something. There's something that's happening. Don't wait until the teacher calls you. So the first winning attitude from the parent's point of view is what? I want to hear you say it. Say it loud. So there we go. Very important. Thank you. Second attitude, and that you really have to do, is you as a father, as a parent, you know that you're the leader of your child's team. You knew that, did you not? Teacher's not the leader. It's not the principal who's the leader. It's not the prime minister. It's you. You are the leader of your kid's team. You're the one who has the power to make things change for your child. So, what does that mean? What's my child's team? A child's team is, first of all, mama, the mother, the father, the teacher, the social worker, the teacher psychologist, anybody that I might have hired to help him. It's grandma and grandpa who are also involved in the child's education. It's all these different people who I call the significant adults. Adults who are significant for the child and who surround the child. Your little boy, your little girl. It's all these people who accompany him. That's your team, and you are the team leader. It's up to you to mobilize this team, and it's your responsibility to encourage them and to get them talking amongst themselves, because it doesn't mean anything if everybody's working on their own and all off in their little ivory towers, everybody going off in a different direction. When you have a good leader, everybody talks to amongst themselves, and we push people to talk to amongst themselves. Sometimes they don't want to talk, but we encourage them to do so. Don't forget that you are the team leader. These are the two attitudes that are very important to have. One, to be proactive, and two, to be the leader of your child's team. Get involved. Be present. And just the fact that you're here today shows that you are the team leader, that you are involved, and that you really want the well-being of your child. I talked to my sister-in-law, Rena, who has a daughter who's in third year high school. Rena said, "Hey, I got this letter from the school saying that that Rena's not doing that well." And I got this document, a questionnaire that I have to fill out on the way she studies, and they're gonna do an IEP. I don't know what they're talking about. What is this? And I didn't really understand what's going on, and I explained, that maybe she has a learning problem. Do you know any more about it? And she says no. And I say, so what are you going to do? She said, I don't know. I'm going to fill out their form and send it back. He said, what do you think I told her? What do you think I told her? Call them for crying out loud. Be proactive. You're the leader of the team. So I said, call her. You don't understand? Call a teacher. Say, I don't understand what's happening. Please explain to me what's going on. Well, yeah, I called her a while back and she never called me. She never called me back. So call her back again. Call her again. She doesn't call you back? Call her again. She doesn't call you? Call her back again. Don't give up. You are the leader. You are the parent. You're of that child, and you have to make sure that the adults that are working with your daughter are going in the right direction, and that they're working and that they're straight. So for all sorts of reasons, the teacher may not have called her, for all sorts of reasons. Be good reasons, bad reasons. That's not important. What's important? It's your kid, your child. You agree with you on that? All right. Okay, so I'm not embarrassed to call the teacher. Shouldn't be afraid to work with you. I shouldn't fear the teacher. Take the yes, but out of your vocabulary and tell yourself that you are the leader of your child's team. Today, we're going to look at a bunch of different things. We're going to, first of all, talk about when do I talk to the teacher? What are the different circumstances that I really have to contact her? And then we're going to talk about 7 good things to do. It's just an hour, sure. We could spend a whole day on it. But we talk about the 7 important things that a parent can do. And then we've got all sorts of different techniques and theories, but we also have to learn how to communicate, to get the message across that we want to send to our teacher. So we're going to talk about our way of getting into a relationship with the teacher. So when do I take action? And when should I contact the teacher? Many reasons. First of all, I don't understand. My sister-in-law, Rena, didn't understand what's happening. Fine. Call her. Write a note, but make sure that you communicate. Don't be passive. Be pro. I want to hear it. Pro. Exactly. So don't stay in the background. Don't stop there and think about it. Don't say, well, yeah, but, it's not important. No, it's your child. It's important. It's my child. It's important. Another reason that we want to talk to the teacher is if you don't agree. Okay, maybe the teacher punished a child and he had them copy a lesson out 4 different times, doing copies. And you look at it and you say, that's a funny way of doing things. I don't think it's particularly constructive personally, but I don't agree. You have the right to go to and express yourself. Of course, there are different ways of doing it. It's all a different way. It all depends on the way you approach the teacher. But if you don't agree with something, maybe there's a way that you could approach the teacher by saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Teacher, I agree that maybe you have to give them some kind of a consequence, some kind of a punishment to the teacher, to the child. It's not, set up the child, but maybe next time you could have him write his thoughts on it rather than that. It seems to me that would be perhaps a better way of doing it. But to me, suggesting, but to say to him, hey, that, maybe, suggest to the teacher that he was right to say that the teacher was not, that the child was not right. But so I contact the teacher when I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. My child is not motivated. I don't know how to motivate him. I don't know what to do. He's not doing his homework, and I can't get him to do his homework. What can I do? And I don't know what he's biting all his friends in class. He bit three kids last week. I don't know what to do. I'm really up at the end of my rope. Call the teacher. Talk to the teacher. Don't keep it inside. And he's an ally. It's not an enemy. He's an ally. You worried? That's another good reason to call him. You worried about something? Gee, things are not going particularly well in mathematics or with his French and so on. He's having problems. But if you have a concern, don't keep it inside. Go talk to the teacher. Now here's a few statistics on a study that was done with some 3,900 principals. And they said, what are some of the reasons for lack of misunderstandings between a teacher and a parent? One of the major problems, 53% of principals said this, the majority, more than the majority of directors, principals said the causes is the punishment or the sanctions that we can give to a child. Yeah, I can agree that as a director, as a principal, there are just got problems when there is a punishment that's given, often depending on the type of punishment and so on. Other thing is when the type of supervision was offered by the school, or it could be mistreatment amongst students, bullying, intimidation, saying things that are not nice, and so on. And that's the different ways, and particularly the way that the school manages that people feel unhappy with that. So that's pretty interesting things to look at. You talk now about the 7 good things that you can do to develop the best relationship possible between a teacher and parent. What can you, as a parent, do? Because I got to talk to teachers also in schools. And I tell them, too, what can you do as a teacher to improve the relationship with your parents? So here I have some letters. We write letters. Don't write a lot of letters these days. We had a great session about information this morning on internet and people on Facebook and so on. But I want to talk to you really about communication here. And sometimes you say, fine, it's great to talk to the teacher, but how can you talk to them? How can I approach them? Do I go and see them? Do I write them an email? Do I write them a note on the how do I do it? Let me give you a little trick. It's a question of red, yellow, and green lights. Let's say that your child has an appointment with the orthodontist. Do I have any emotion there? No. He's got an appointment with the doctor. So I take a note to write to the teacher, and I say, Mark has an appointment with the dentist tomorrow. Okay, no emotion in there, no problem. I just write. I write the letter. And when there's no emotion, it's green light. We can write. It's easy, it's factual, it's short. It's just a question of information. And I have no information. I'm not worried. I'm not afraid. I'm not mad. It's just a matter of a note for information. We'll write something like that. We don't write something when we're getting into the emotions. Tell you about a story about my neighbor Paula. Paula stopped me in the street. I was walking my dog. She said, "Come and see there. Come and see." And she showed the homework, his boy's homework notebook. See what the teacher wrote. The part in April said George is having serious problems with his math in his little homework book. And the mother got really upset, and his teacher's never told me anything all year that he's getting bad marks and so on, that things are not going well. And all of a sudden in April, all of a sudden I'm finding this out. And she's mad. You know what she did? She wrote 3 pages worth of insults to the teacher in the homework book. I see people looking around. But writing things is not a way to when you want to tell somebody off, or when you're feeling your emotions. Let's say that she was more in the red in there. When you're on a red light, when you're really deep into your emotions, go and meet them. Go and talk to them face to face. Or they're going to read their body language. They're going to read yours. And no emotions. I write. It's factual. It's very, very brief, to the point. Little bit of emotion, little bit of a concern on a particular problem. It's a yellow light. Then I'll call. I can have a very good phone call conversation with the teacher when I'm not emotional, or when I'm not too emotional when we're talking. And then when you want to meet somebody, is when there's really something serious you want to talk about. You agree with this? You okay? Full green light, yellow light, red light. Give you a bit of an indication of how to approach the teacher and the best way to communicate. When we meet the teacher, meeting the teacher is one thing, but can we have good meetings? Is our meeting progressive? How can I make the meeting productive? I want to come out of a meeting with the teacher by getting solutions and having something to do, and with a follow-up on that. So I invented the term PASA. PASA is a technique that I can communicate to you. The first one, the P, is to be prepared. Always come to a meeting like that well prepared. Write down the comments that you may have. Write down the key words that you want to bring out, and bring up things. Write things down. You know, like when you go to a doctor and you're seeing him for a sore throat, you talk about a sore throat. You come out of your car and you say, geez, I forgot to tell him about my headache that I had for 3 weeks, for 3 years. If I had written things down when I was at home, I would have had the time to talk about it. Often meetings with the teacher, they're often a little bit short. Don't take that long. Teachers have got a lot of things to do, and you know we don't really want to take a lot of time with the teacher, of the teacher's time. So if you're prepared, you show up with the questions and a list of things to do, and you're already been much more effective. The A is to assure that you understand. To make sure that the teacher says, for example, yeah, but things just don't work. I'm not going well. Your child is always upsetting the class. Always. So you could say, from what I understand, he upsets the class. Is it because he doesn't listen, or you think that he can't control himself? I have to get your opinion on that a little bit. Assure yourself that you understand what he's saying, that and you've really gotten the message behind what she's saying, behind her complaint. The second point is the solution, the common solution. Always leave a meeting making sure that you have come kind of a solution. We don't go into the message complaint. We come to a solution. The student doesn't talk French in a French class, so what do you think we should do? That is a productive meeting. Always come up with a solution and agree on a solution between the teacher and the parent. And S is for follow-up. Her word passe obviously is French, or in her French word, but the S here is follow-up. Give you an example. You have all sorts of good solutions, but then I have a follow-up on that. And they say, fine, that doesn't always talk French in a French class. So he said, I'll get him to sit down with somebody who speaks French and might encourage him. That's what the teacher says. You at home, what you could do is maybe give him a little bit of television in French. It'll help him. And then we'll give him a star system at school so that he can speak French. Okay, so we now have a solution. And then we both go off on our own. And do you know what's going to happen on that if you don't do anything else? And then something you'll forget about sitting down in front of the TV, and the teacher's going to forget he has to be with somebody who speaks French, and time goes by, and then we forget, and we end up losing a solution to that. And what happens? It's your child that doesn't speak French any more than he did before. So that when you've agreed on a solution finally, then we say that, okay, we're going to try this, and can I call you in a couple of weeks and see how our plan is working? And you call back in 3 weeks, and Add it to your agenda and say, great, I got to call the teacher. Don't forget, you're being proactive. You're the leader of the team on that. So you're the one that should do the follow-up on that. Sometimes the teacher does it, but if he doesn't or she doesn't, do it yourself. Don't be afraid of making that follow-up. And I call it back and say, hey, did it work? Do you see any change in my son's behavior? Yeah, great, good. Let's keep it up. I'll call you back in 2 weeks. If not, then we change strategies. So agreeing on a follow-up on that, I'll always end up with an action plan for both of you. That's to say, the teacher should do something, the parents should do something, and the child should do something. It's not just to the teacher's responsibility to do something, and it's not just up to you to do something, but it's for everybody. Everybody has to lead there with an action plan. So the third trick would be to never do something when you are angry. Anger is a very bad consultant or advisor. Sometimes, because all sorts of reasons, it's my child. This is the most important thing in the world to me. Sure, of course, you're going to have situations that are going to make me upset, which are going to get me really mad. And then I show up at the teacher, I'm going to be really upset. How's the teacher going to react? He's going to react. You're going to by closing down, and he's going to build up a wall between the two of you. And communication just is no way it's going to get across that wall. So if you're mad, just make sure that you realize that it's not the time really to go and knock on the teacher's door. Calm down first and tell yourself one particular thing. There's something. If I'm mad, it's because I'm angry about something. No, let me take that again. If I'm angry, it's because I'm afraid of something. And what am I afraid of? You're afraid that something's going to happen, and go ahead, and you're afraid your child is going to lose interest in school. You're afraid that he doesn't like school, but there's something that makes you afraid, and that's what makes you angry. So understand your anger. Once you have understood what it is, then you go and meet your teacher. The fourth point is to express your concerns. When I go and see the teacher, tell him I'm worried to see his marks in mathematics, and I'm worried to see that he can't control his energy. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. When you express your anger, your concerns, the teacher all of a sudden is going to be listening to you. If I show up in front of the teacher and I say, hey, it doesn't make any damn sense. What's happening with this homework? Why can't he do his homework? You give him way too much homework. I end up with an accusing to what happens when that? The teacher's gonna again build up his barriers and build up a wall between them. He's not gonna want to talk to you. Not gonna react. If you show up with a concern, the teacher will going to really feel like helping you at that point. And that's a way really of bringing him into your field to make him realize that, hey, I need help here.
So instead of talking to a mom, instead of talking to your neighbor and vent, if you have a concern, go and talk directly to the teacher. Go and solve it with the teacher. Sometimes it's just a miscommunication. You have and you don't even check with the person. I have a mom at the beginning of the year. The school didn't start yet. The mom calls me and says, Mrs. Bastien, I know that my daughter is going to be in this group. I don't want her to be in that group. And I said, why? And she said, because it sounds like she's a very bad teacher. It sounds like she's a really bad teacher. Do you know her? No. Did you ever talk to her? No. That's all the sidewalk moms told me last year. So why not give her a chance? Because it's ugly to base it on the experience of other people. Maybe other people had a bad experience. I know some people had good experience with her. So you have a prejudice, preconceived idea. So it's worth it when you have a problem to go and talk to the person concerned. Another mom says, the teacher called my daughter fat or something. The gym teacher told the little girl you had to put on shorts even if you have big legs. So the little girl reacted, she was right. She had a low self-esteem already. And around 11, 12 years old, it's hard to hear that. So what did the mom do? Is that she went to the school and she went to talk to the director, to the principal. What could have been done? First of all, calm down and go teach to the teacher, the main concerned party, and say, you said that to my daughter, it hurt her feelings. She has a hard time with her self-image. Could you help me to talk to her and tell her more positive things? If it doesn't work with the person, go above her, go talk to the principal, but first try to solve the problem with the concerned person. Things tend to be solved very quickly. Finally, the sixth trick is to call the teacher. A little girl arrives in first year at school, and after September and October, teachers say, Sylvie, there's something really going on. She doesn't look at me in the eyes. She doesn't learn. What's going on? What was in her file? You met with the parents. What happened? There was nothing in the files. Just to say that we learned that that child had attention deficit disorder, and the parents didn't tell us. And what we understood is that the parents didn't tell us because they didn't want her to be labeled. So they decided to keep it for themselves. But the teacher lost 2 or 3 months of intervention, of targeted intervention. They took away the chance from the teachers to say, okay, I have a little girl, she has an attention deficit disorder, and I'm going to make sure to put her forward. There are things that the teacher can do if he's informed. There is no shame to have. It's better to talk to your teachers and give them the information that they need. Another example is, for example, if things are not going well at home and that there's arguments between mom and dad, and it affects the child, and the child is starting to have strange behaviors because there are problems at home and it's difficult. But instead of being passive and saying nothing and let the teacher say, I don't understand what's going on with you. Child, go meet the teacher and tell the teacher, I can't give you any details, but keep an eye on my daughter because there's problems at home, and if you see that her behavior is changing, call her and we can work together. That's the right attitude to have. Seventh, I go back to the principle of leader parent. You're the leader of your teacher. So you're the ones who have to mobilize the troops, make sure that people work together and motivate the troops. You're gonna say it's not up to me to motivate teachers. I have to motivate my son to do his homework. I have to motivate my teacher. There is a principle to do that. It's not up to me. Who does the teacher work for? Teacher works for and for you. So if you motivate the teacher, is going to want to help. It could be good gesture, it could be a slap in the back, on the back. Yes, when you've done that, my son really liked it. Thank you, congratulations. Just encouragements. A teacher that received a message on its voicemail. A mom left a message to me at night on my voicemail, and she said, Mrs. Bastien, I don't want you to call me back. All I want to tell you is that you and your team are extraordinary people. I loved the meeting that we had yesterday. I know that you all work in the same direction. I just want to thank you. That puts you in a good mood. That pleases you. So do it. That's what being a good leader is. It's someone who will really encourage his team. So we went through various techniques, various approaches. It's all about communicating things to the teacher. So we talk about verbal and non-verbal communication. When I talk to someone, my words are not that important. What is important? It's my body language. The body language accounts for 93% of my communication. The words I'm using are only 7% of communication. So our body language, we have to really pay attention to it when we talk to the teachers. I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise with me. Here are some words. I do not understand my child's bad marks. Is there any emotion in this sentence? I don't understand my child's poor marks, grades. There's no emotion. No emotion. Now I'm going to ask you, when I tell you to get up, you're going to go 2 by 2, pair with someone else. One will be the parent and one will be the teacher. I'm going to ask the parents to say these words, but with the emotion that I will give you. Okay, stand up. Stand up and do it. Pair up with someone. One teacher, one parent. Okay, so who's going to do the parent and who's going to do the teacher? Qui va le parent et qui va le parent? Okay, got it? Levez la main les parents. Raise your hands, parents. Parents, raise your hands. The ones who is going to be the parent. I want you to say this sentence. I don't understand my child's bad marks. Say it with the following emotion. Anger. Say it a few times. Keep saying it with anger. Be angry. Now, teachers, raise your hands. What kind of non-verbal language, body language did you observe? Angry eyes? Overexpressions of anger, the tone of voice. You're standing like that with your eyes like this, your tone of your voice is strong. Suspicion. Say it with suspicion.
The parent is how you tell this with distrust. You don't trust the teacher. The teacher envers l'enseignant. And I want the teacher to observe the document. So, anything, on behalf of the
Say it a few times.
Okay. What are the signs of distrust in the non-verbal? Who can tell you? Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. The eyes over there. You're so funny. That's a good sign. Very good. Those are things that I have on their side.
Other signs of body language that betrays suspicion, avoiding eye contact, stepping back. I don't trust you. When you back up from someone, it means I don't trust you. Can you see how your body language is talking?
Here's your next motion. Ready?
Now, be threatening. Be threatening.
Anytime you want. You're threatening the future. You're not going to have God as your God. Excellent. Okay, so you're good.
All right. So what's the sign of distrust? C'est quoi le signe de la méfiance? What?
I see one very good verbal number like this, very good. Other side, don't think. Don't think. Est-ce que vous avez vu? On peut. You're leading forward. Stop. Et je tombe en même temps, et je demande avant, c'est very good. Right? Okay. Now, the last one. Are you ready for the last one? Okay. That's a good one. Collaboration. Showing financial. Le non-verbal pour la collaboration. Première expression de collaboration. Showing the sign of collaboration. You want to collaborate with your teacher. You want to work with. What are you going to say? How are you going to do? Okay. What did you see? What did you hear? Yeah? On peut s'approcher. On peut se toucher. C'est bon. On s'approche. Et là, vous ouvrez vos bras ouverts.
Vous avez fait ça. Si je suis comme ça, what does it mean? Je suis fermé. Ouvrez vos bras. Parlez au prof, pensez à vos bras. C'est niaiseux, là, mais pensez-y. Ouvrez vos bras. Si vous êtes comme ça, puis vous dites, je comprends pas les mauvaises notes de mon enfant, ça passera pas. Vous n'êtes pas collaborateur. Mais si vous dites quelque chose comme, je comprends pas les notes de mon enfant, qu'est-ce que je suis en train de lui dire avec mes mains? Qu'est-ce que je suis en train de lui dire avec ma tête? C'est que je veux votre aide, je veux collaborer. Alors, vous êtes superbe, on s'applaudit, une bonne main d'applaudissement pour tout le monde. Merveilleux. Alors, maintenant qu'on comprend que la prochaine fois que vous allez rencontrer le professeur...
Now that you understand, the next time you meet the teacher, tell yourself it's not my words that count, it's my body language. It's worth giving it a thought. So we are all different. We all have different reactions. I teach a model called DESC. Have you ever heard that model? Okay, I got 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay. There are 4 personality types, and we all have it in ourselves, but there is one that is dominant. I'm going to ask you, we don't have time to do the test, it's 1 full day of training, but raise your hand those who feel that they are more extroverted. If you're more naturally extroverted, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're more extroverted. I want to see your hand up. Usually it's easy to see. There's not that many. Just a few. So the 2 personalities is the torpedo and the fireworks. These are people who are more extroverted. The 2 personality types at the bottom are the zoom and peace and love sign. These are people who are more introverted. So, depending on whether or not I'm extroverted or introverted, I will communicate. I will have my own way to communicate. If I am determined, more like a torpedo, and I'm not happy, I could explode. That's my nature. So when I know my personality type, I can say, all right, I'm very direct. I have to be careful. I have to calm my nerves. So under pressure, the torpedo tends to attack and judge. You probably know someone who was a torpedo. When you have a torpedo temperament, you have to be very careful when you talk to the teacher. If I am more of a firework personality, someone who will always find pleasure in doing my work. If I am this kind of person and I'm upset, I tend to speak harshly. And leave angrily. That's a firework kind of a thing. If I'm a peace and love personality, someone who likes when people get along, someone who needs harmony, someone who wants everybody to be happy. When he's under pressure, the peace and love can avoid situations. So he's not going to go talk to the teacher, he's going to stay home and ruminate inside. If you have this kind of personality, say stop, keeping things inside. Tell yourself, I'm a proactive leader parent. So sometimes you have to push yourself against nature. If I am more of an analytic personality, it's the zoom. It's someone who needs details. Detail-oriented perfectionist who wants everything to be perfect. So if it's my type of personality, I can become very cynical. So I can know when I'm talking to the teacher. If you recognize yourself in one of these styles, this is what you have to do to try to develop a good relationship. We all have that capacity to adjust. Some people say I'm angry. We have the ability to calm down. If I'm introverted, I'm scared to talk to the teacher. No, you can adjust. Force yourself, try to make an effort to express your thoughts. So this is a summary of all the tricks that you can use. Be number one, be proactive and be a leader parent, a parent leader. Communications, we talked about the green light, yellow light, and red light when the various levels of emotions. So I write, I call or I meet. The meeting that not to act on anger, upon anger, express your concerns. Talk to the person who is directly concerned, inform the teacher and mobilize the team.
For English-speaking people, I have handouts in the video, so you may read with these handouts. It's all written in English.
There's not enough. I can certainly give it to the organizing committee so that they can forward it to you. Tout est dans la façon.
Communication is everything. I don't forget that I'm aware of the message I'm sending, that my body language speaks louder than my verbal language. I know how I react under pressure. We all react differently. We can all adjust. Be proactive. You're the leader of your child's team. I wish you all a great school year. I hope that you and the teachers put your child in a positive and proactive, extraordinary environment. I wish that for you that your children will be happy. I thank you. You're an extraordinary group. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions or comments? I just wanted to know, can we have a paper copy of your workshop? What I can do is send the document here, and some of them are going around with the summary of my presentation. I will do a free webinar very soon. I encourage you to write down my website to communicate with me. You can register to my newsletter, and what you have to know is that I do 1 or 2 minutes video capsules every week to give for each video, short video, there is one tip. So you can go on my site and register for my newsletter for workshops. I am going to do them online website. If you registered to my newsletter, you will receive some information to register to my webinar. So you don't have to go out of your house. You can register to the webinar and get a 1 hour class on the internet. And I also visit people. So if you want me to come to your school, if you want to talk to the director of your school, to the principal of your school, I'll be happy. My contacts are on the website. Does it answer your question? Other questions, experiences, comments? Everything is all right? There's a question over there. Oh, no microphone.
In Petawawa, je suis allée partout, anywhere.
If you were to come into my community, which is northern part of New Brunswick.
Yeah,
Yes?
I'll go.
Oh, okay.
I'll go for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Des questions?
Questions? I wish you a wonderful afternoon. Thank you very much.